With so many great HDR touchscreen camera monitors on the market, why did I choose the Neewer F700 over other brands? My rule is never spend more on kit than it will make back on a single job, but the gear also has to be up to the task. This is where choosing gets hard because those two things, good and cheap, normally don't come together. Usually it's one or the other, but that's not the case with the Neewer F700 7-inch high brightness touchscreen monitor. Firstly, for a 2000 nit monitor of its size, affordability sits in a different price bracket. It's roughly $300 depending on time, place, and currency. If you think that's expensive, the new Shinobi 7-inch is radically overpriced, as is the Portkeys BM72DS. Andy Cine have the C7, which I actually own, and it's pretty close in design, screen connectivity and functionality for around the same price, but the Neewer F700 comes with more accessories, making it a far better deal. There really is a lot in the box apart from the monitor. For the price, mine came with two really good quality NPF 750 batteries, which retail for around $45 each here in France. A very good anti-twist monitor mount, far better than the one that came with my Viltrox DCX3, micro, mini and full-size HDMI cables, and 3 separate USB-C cables for battery charging. The batteries charge really fast via USB-C and have a simple LED indicator that's red when charging and green when it's full. Combined, the batteries draw about 2.2 amps, so you don't really need a big power source to get them recharged. These two batteries will power the monitor at max brightness and fan speed for a solid chunk of the day. The batteries are hot swappable and their remaining percentage clearly visible in the top right-hand corner of the screen. But using these batteries does add considerable weight to the top of your camera. I prefer single power supply options like V-Lock batteries. This way I can power everything from a single source, never have to power my camera down during the day, and gain better ergonomics. As a minimum, any monitor that I buy must be able to loop out 4K DCI signals at 30p and not flake out when I shoot slow motion. It must have a 12-volt DC in and out for my older pocket cinema cameras, a USB-C input, and a way to monitor audio and a SD card slot for loading LUTs. The screen must be touch controllable, have a snappy UI, but also have configurable buttons for cold weather and have power redundancy options. And the F700 has this in spades. The F700's user interface is super simple to use. You just double tap the screen and launch the UI, where you will find everything is labeled accordingly. Navigating is a breeze, and you can just slide your finger over the menu, stopping at the one you wish to activate or adjust, or just tap the option that you like. There's a fantastic choice of imaging tools to help you get the most from your camera, like positional waveforms or vector scope, false color, zebras, focus peaking, a HDR mode, a good array of user assignable LUTs, audio meters, over and under scan, plus a full range of anamorphic D-squeeze options. You can also fine-tune the monitor's sharpness, brightness, contrast, saturation, tint, and change the screen's color temperature to better match your shooting environment. So it's absolutely feature-packed. Now, while operating your camera, changing the screen's brightness is super easy. Just swipe up or down on the left or right-hand side of the screen to change your audio, and you just do the same action to change the brightness on the other side. But by far, my favorite tool on the monitor is the pinch to zoom function. It works incredibly well and allows you to zoom in 4 times opposed to 3 times via the control buttons. It's super responsive and it just makes using the monitor an absolute joy. Now it's time to talk about the most important parts of a monitor, the build quality and the image quality. Similar to a Ninja 5, only the spine of the unit is made from metal. This means that the mounting points are fairly secure and are not pieces of hot brass just pressed into plastic. The programmable buttons are dished nicely and have a pleasant tactile feel, but it would be disingenuous of me to say that the battery plates have a feeling of robustness and are another reason why I'll be sticking with lighter NPF dummy battery adapters to power the unit. Using a dummy battery also helps the F700 remain slim, opposed to running both heavy included NPF batteries, which add a considerable amount of size and weight to the monitor. Without the supplied batteries, the monitor and mount weigh only 440 grams, but it balloons out to 850 grams with the batteries and triples in thickness. When it comes to image quality, the Neewer F700 isn't as accurate as, say, my Shimbal monitors, but it's pretty close. This, after all, is an 8-bit HDR IPS panel that's pushing 2000 nits. Out of the box, the 1001 contrast ratio stops the images from easily washing out, but so far I've been happy with how the image appears without the need to mess around with it. The screen is really bright and the images appear sharp, colourful and contrasty even at the maximum of 160 degrees viewing angle limit. In all of the time I've been using the monitor, even in full sun, I've rarely had to run the 1080 screen at 2000 nits. But when running the monitor that bright, it never overheats, the fans barely switch on, and because of this, I just leave them set to auto. When they do turn on, yes, they do make a noise, but it's nowhere near in the realm of my Ninja 5, which is obnoxiously loud. Outdoors, even though this is a 2000 nit display, a sun hood would have been really nice. That's more to control reflections and see the image. I'll say it again, the screen is wicked bright, but something like this from my DCX3 would have been perfect. Maybe Neewer could offer this as a cheap accessory in the future. Now, I've left what I consider the most important thing in a monitor until last, because if it doesn't do this quick, in some instances I could miss a shot. It's something that many reviewers just overlook, but for real-world applications, it's vital to be fast at this, and that's boot up time. Happily, I can report the Neewers F700's boot up time is amongst the fastest of all of my monitors, showing an image within 9 seconds. I bought a lot of monitors over the last year and haven't had any issues with any of them, so I don't say this lightly. The F700 is an excellent monitor. It is lacking a little bit in build quality. If it was all metal, boy, this would be knockout for the money. This single point aside though, the fact that it has all the features that I actually use with a larger super bright screen, a reliable 709 picture plus quality accessories that shows the image real fast for sub $300 makes it an amazing value and a single rental return for investment. Everything I was absolutely looking for.
Swipe up, tag your friends, like and subscribe, comment below if I make this follow.